You have to be careful if they always need to explain for you. Tip is about giving and getting back, giving and getting back. Is somebody following me? So it's not true that always the case is no, some people are here for a reason, some are here for a season. Sometimes you are also the problem. Hallelujah. Tell yourself, I'm good at keeping good things. That's something, that's a skill you need to learn. So what I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen, is you are allowed an off day, but your friends are also allowed an off day. And this applies to any form of relationship. It means that somebody is allowed to be off, even if it's not logical, even if it's emotional, because that's how human beings are. So the same way they are allowed an off day, they are also allowed an off day. So you have to be careful with love that only gives, but never gets back. Or only, or gets without giving. Oh no, I'm coming to that other one. Let's go on. Then there is love. This is still on the provisions of love. There is love that wants to satisfy itself at the expense of another. Now, there is a story in the Bible of Amnon and Tamar. And the Bible is very clear in words. It says he loved Tamar. That's what it says. It says he loved Tamar. And then he came up with a plan. Somebody say glory. Now, he came up with a plan because he was advised saying, look, you're the king's child. You can have whatever you want. And that plan involved raping her. So he tricked her to his bed, claiming he was sick. And then he raped her. But the immediate verse afterwards shocks me. He says afterwards he hated her. Imagine that. You desired this person so badly that you came up with a plan to get them, and then afterwards you hate them. And there's a lot of that that's taking place. You know, like when I'll tell you this as a pastor. I've sat down before with somebody, and here's somebody saying, Pastor, no, that girl is just a problem. She's just faking the pregnancy. Okay? But in the first place, here's the thing. The way people get pregnant is that something actually happens. So, whether the person is faking it or not, you participated in the thing that could even validate them faking it. And then now you hear them talking about the person. They are talking about the person like this is just like the worst thing to ever exist on earth. This is the same person you are vibing, the same person you are talking to, then you paid for some room, you did. This is the same person you are treating like, for those minutes, they were the best in the world. There was nothing better. And all of a sudden, you're talking about them like they're just absolutely useless. Why? Because you've satisfied what you wanted. Now they are not necessary anymore. And it applies to so many sectors of life. And you have to be careful with that. Otherwise, you can end up being somebody who uses people. How can I put it, ladies and gentlemen? Allow people around you to have an off day. They don't always have to be at their best. Okay? Allow them to grow in your presence. But yeah, there's that one that wants to satisfy itself at the expense of another. And this one also relates a lot to even just sexual perversion. You know, think about it. Someone looks at someone, and really all they care about is sleeping with them and moving on. Imagine that. Shocking, eh? Like, think about it. Like, this is a whole human being who God died for. Like, God sent his son to die for them, right? Bought with the precious blood of Jesus, which the angels were never bought with. And then somebody looks at them and they're sitting with their friend saying, I need to make a plan to just sleep with that person. How wicked. That's wickedness. That means they don't matter anything to you. All they are is a sex object. That's a perversion of love. And it's lust on steroids. And that one is rarely satisfied. Then here is another version of perversion of love. This is a love that is willing to lower themselves in a bad way to satisfy another person. So what do I mean? So here's somebody saying, Pastor, I would like to walk the path of purity, but it's the person I'm with. I like them. So in short, what you're saying there is that person is in a competition with your principles. And in doing so, they're in competition with your God. So your relationship with God is in competition with your relationship with that person. And then you're picking your relationship with that person above your relationship with God. But God should be the understanding one. And the challenge we have is this. Here's one challenge we have. Sometimes the Jesus in people's heads and the one in the Bible are two different people. No, I need to say that one again, and I need to hear me closely. Sometimes the Jesus in people's heads is very understanding. He's very nice. All he has is reckless love. You know what I mean? And all he does is love despite your faults. But then, and I'm not against those things, by the way. But then sometimes when you try to marry with the one in the Bible, the one who says, if you're not with me, you're against me. The one who says, if you're lukewarm, I'm going to spit you out. You find there's a discrepancy there. So the moment your principles, and this could apply to love of money, look like it could apply to money. You know that, right? Because there's some people who love money too much. You can have a very toxic relationship with money. What do I mean? Money is a good servant, it's a bad master. The moment it becomes your boss, there will be a challenge. And you have to be careful, especially with get rich quick schemes. The Bible is very clear about that. You find the first thing that comes to a person's mind when any money comes is betting, 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 betting. There's a problem. It's a toxic relationship. The first thing that comes to a person's mind when they're broke is my body, my body, my body. There's a problem. It's a toxic relationship. It can be very toxic. What do I mean? In your journey to the level of wealth you want to have, there will be days you may not have as much as you want to. Let me say that one again. In your journey to the level of wealth that you want to walk in, there may be days when you're not holding the exact amount you would want to hold. On that day, are you going to lower the standards? Are you going to change your principles? Because that's where the problem usually comes in. Because we've taught prosperity, but rarely have we taught godliness with contentment. There's nothing better than contentment. And can I tell you how funny this world is? This world is funny. This world is funny. I'll give you an example. Just do me a favor. Next week, try and buy a very nice car. Okay? Just... Can I tell you what will happen immediately? You try and buy a very nice car. Drive in the road. You'll be shocked how you have 5 better cars on the same day that you never used to see before. You will be amazed. It will shock you. Because the world gives you reasons. The way the world has been designed now is that the world wants to always have your money. Like, have you heard of how people say you can't get rich through employment, right? I do think I get where they're coming from. I don't think it's 100% accurate because it depends on your definition of being rich. And also, we do have like a lot of entrepreneurs who, whenever ZRA release, like, the CEOs all go there to write aptitude tests. You'll be amazed. Like, they're all there in a queue writing it. So now we do have these things. You'll be shocked. Sometimes you'll be amazed. Your inspiration is the same. Like you're fighting, you'll see like you're fighting with your inspiration for the same job. You'll be amazed. And then also, like, for example, if you're the CEO of Microsoft, anyways, let's go on. To be honest, you probably have more money than a number of people, right? But do you know why a lot of people who are working probably don't get rich? Very quickly. It's very simple. The world has been designed for you to have something to do with your money every minute. So, like, you find when you are just starting out in life and you're 2 pin per month, you even used to save. Sometimes when you think of the miracles you did with that 2 pin, you were in the top 50. You were in the top 50 in the church. Your life changes. God raises the standard. You're now getting 10,000. Somehow, your budget changes from 1.5 per month to 11.4. Not even to 10 pin, to 11.4. And now you're finding yourself in debt every month of 1.4. And you're thinking, God, if I could just be bringing in 20 pin, you've even made a plan. The day the first 20 pin hits, your budget is 32. So even that's why you find you'll be amazed how some of the people who get a lot of money are not just broke, they're in debt, crazy debt, because the demands increase. And then the world has been designed to offer you, a soft life is expensive. It's very expensive. The world has been designed to offer you a reason to always have something. Before you know it, there's a 2 pin per month going here, then there's a 3 pin per month going here. You know what I mean? Like, there are certain services that you pay for that, if you're being honest, this is me being honest with myself. You find that certain services I pay for that I don't really use. But if I don't pay, I notice. Because the only day I feel like using it is the day I don't pay. No, let me not say much. I need to move on with the sermon. Okay, so we're looking at perversions of love, right? Let me give you a few more. Make me clearer. Make me clearer. This is where I'm trying to get to. Okay, then, getting clearer. A bit sharper. And then another perversion of love is being gullible. Being gullible. To be gullible means you can easily be lied to. Yeah, being gullible, that's a perversion of love. That means your brain is left out of the equation. And can I tell you how to know if love is making you gullible? I'll tell you how to know. Just check the advice that you give others and then try to compare if you're actually following that advice. Because people are very wise when it comes to other people's situations. People are very wise, like sometimes I've asked people questions. You find people have come with like certain issues. And I ask them questions. And when I hear the wisdom they're pouring out, I'm like, why have you even come to see me? If you could just get that same wisdom and apply it. Then there's love that doesn't mind reducing the value of another. You see that in the scriptures. There's a lady named Dinah. Should be one of Jacob's daughters. You'll notice that there's someone who loved her. And then he set up a trap so he could sleep with her. And I think Jacob's sons were very upset. They ended up killing the whole camp. And then when Jacob asked, she's like, why did you do this? Because those guys, not only he didn't hate her after sleeping with her, he actually went all the way to agreeing for his whole town to be circumcised so he could have her. But then the brother answered, why should he treat her like a harlot? Meaning, if you really love this person, why should you reduce them? Like, why? So there's love that, it's a perversion because it ends up demeaning. And then there's also love that only loves those who qualify for it. Let me tell you what I mean. Here's a person who treats everyone badly except their two friends, maybe their spouse, and somebody who inspires them. There's a problem there. You know what the problem is? The problem is you're training your heart. You're training your heart, and the heart doesn't know when you're joking. Because in that case, what you're doing is, the only reason why you're treating those people that way is because they deserve it. The day they don't deserve it, you will finish them the way you finish the other people. And that's why you must be very careful to watch. If you want to know how polite you are, check how you talk to those who are below you, whether in terms of status, whether in terms of even just the kids at home. Check how you speak to them, because that's actually where you see your politeness. It's not really with people that you respect. You've got no choice. You respect them. Check how you talk to that person on the counter. Check how you talk to that person who helps park your car in town. And if you can get those guys on your side, no one will ever steal from you. I remember one time I was quite nice to some of the guys who were helping me park my car in town. And I tipped them well. You know what happened? They stopped an army vehicle for me to pass. I even felt shy. As in they went and, yeah, stop, Bwana Peter, Bwana. Now, in the scriptures, we see three Greek words primarily used for love. You can apply them both to the Old and New Testament once you do the translations. The first one is called eros, which means romantic love. This is expressed between lovers, and it involves even things like attraction to one another. And for eros, one has to master it and direct it primarily to their spouse. Okay? Then we've got phileo. This is where you get Philadelphia. That's why they call it, the city of brotherly love. Phileo means brotherly love. This is the kind of love that you see binding